Last week I showed you guys an idea for hinging EMT conduit builds with eye-hooks and eye-bolts, and towards the end of the video I said something along the lines of hinging the build and then locking it in place and then adjusting it and locking it in place again. Now I realized I didn't really share any ideas for locking it in place, and a couple of people in the comments had pointed that out and were asking for some ideas, so I thought it would be good to do a follow-up video and show you guys 5 different ways that you could adjust a build and then lock it in place or secure it after adjusting it. And there's some really good examples from the community, and there's also a simple idea that I'm going to show you guys that I put together that's really easy to do and kind of uses some of the hacks from the community, but it's just really simple and I didn't really find an example for it, so I put it together and I'm going to show you that towards the end. But first, let's look at the community and see some ideas. First of all, we've got this build from Paul, and this was actually shared super recently, and he actually used the eye-hook solution for the hinge, but I didn't see this build before I made that video, or I would have pointed it out. And basically, he's got the eye-hooks on these pieces of wood, and the conduit is running through them, as we talked about in the video last week. And the way that he adjusts this and then locks it in place is with this pulley system that he has. So basically, this cover that he made for the kayaks goes over top of the kayaks here, and then on this pipe he's got a rope attached that goes up through a pulley that's attached to this shed roof and then comes back down, and he's able to grab one side of that rope, pull it up, and then that raises the cover, and then he can just tie off the rope and hold it in place while he moves the kayaks in and out. Super simple idea, and it's a really good way to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, where you adjust the canopy and then secure it all with the same mechanism, because he's just got that one rope that he uses to raise the canopy or the cover and then secures it in place. So that's really cool. Another idea comes from Asan, where basically he made a privacy screen and patio cover for his house and his deck. And you can see here that he's got it in the down position now, and he's utilizing the deck railing to his advantage. So basically, if he's not sitting on the porch, or if he's not using it, or if there's a big storm coming through, basically lowers it down. You can see it's a really harsh angle, so rain and snow and stuff will slide right off. But he's using a different hinge solution than what we talked about with the eye hook. He's using shower curtain or ceiling curtain rods. We talked about these a while back, and it works similar to eye hooks, but it's not the same. But the way that he secured it is useful for both hinge solutions, because you can see here that whenever he wants to sit underneath the canopy and have a table here, have dinner outside, or whatever he wants to do on the patio, he can raise the canopy up just a bit. It hinges up here, and then he uses the privacy screen section of the build and secures it to his deck railing using the conduit spring clips that we have on the website. So it'll just rest down on, just kind of catch the corner whenever it's in the down position. Then he raises it up and secures it and kind of snaps it in the spring clamps whenever he wants to use the patio canopy and get some shade cover and privacy on the patio. And you can see here he added some ball bungees for just some added security as well. So that's really cool and a really great technique for doing this and for raising it up and lowering it. And very similar to this is a build from Rob that was shared a while back. And again, it's a different hinge solution, but securing it is, and the idea for the way that he secured it is a universal idea, I think, for all kinds of different hinges, where basically, very similar to Asan, the part of the build on this side is used to raise and lower it. And he actually shared a video, which is super cool. You can see here it latches on the fence post here whenever it's in the up position, and then a storm's coming through, so then they raise it, or I guess lower it in this scenario, and then it rests on the ground and then creates a really harsh angle for weather to slide right off, which is super cool, really simple. And because that hinge is so secure and the eye hook hinge is so secure as well, you don't really have to worry about actually locking it in place per se. You can actually just utilize your deck railing or fence post or whatever it may be to raise and lower it. Now, if you don't have a deck railing or something to kind of capture it or hold it in place whenever you raise and lower it, you can do something like Billy did in his video. This is an awesome video. I recommend anybody check it out, especially if you're wanting to make a canopy that adjusts, because he made this canopy that rolls up and folds flat against the side of his trailer camper conversion. And basically, as we can see here, it unravels, and when it's in this scenario, he tightens the shade, and it's got a specific angle. And we'll see here, he's raising up the bracing, which is really cool. I love this canopy so much. You gotta check out this video if you haven't seen it. You can see here, he's got the bracing here. He's using the MakerPipe adjustable angle hinges. He just left the puzzle piece part of it loose, so he can slide that along the pipes and then goes up and secures it, and that will brace the canopy. But that's not all, because we'll see here in a second, so many cool things about this. He rolls it up and tightens it in place, but he also is able to adjust it and move it because he used some of the MakerPipe telescoping clamps on the bracing. So there's a 3/4 inch conduit going up and then 1/2 inch conduit inside of that with a telescoping clamp, and that's what he uses to raise and lower it and adjust the angle, which is really cool. And you can utilize that. It doesn't have to be on the side of a camper. You could do it on your deck or your patio or something where you have an adjustable angle connector that you can change the angle of and then change that brace using the telescoping clamp. And that kind of brings me to the last idea, which is what I'm going to show you guys that I set up behind me, where I use telescoping clamps in a really simple way. So let me show you guys that. Okay, so I've got my little mock-up canopy here, and I'm using the iHook hinge solution up here, as we talked about last week. And similar to what Billy did in his video, you could basically have a leg that's 3/4 inch, and at the very bottom of it, you could have a telescoping clamp. So you could have it in whatever position that you want, like this. And then if you want to adjust the angle of it, you could raise it up and undo the telescoping clamps, have the 1/2 inch conduit slide out, clamp it back in place, and then do the same thing on the other side. And you're creating a leg that's adjustable, and now your canopy is adjustable, and it's really simple to do with the telescoping clamps in 2 different sizes of conduit, and you can adjust your builds and then secure it in different angles and do different things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. All 5 of these solutions I think are really useful in different scenarios and hopefully will come in handy in your projects. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next one.